And we're live.
And we're live, yes. And there's only two of us. Unfortunately, Richie could not make it. Unforeseen circumstances, I guess. I don't. He has people
Hunter
over.
Chambliss got out of the basement. He's Venmoing everybody for money, and Richie's trying to wrangle him up.
Yeah, Hunter, if you're watching, I'm glad you're finally going through with the surgery. Hunter, if you're
And
not watching, please
if it's
watch.
if it's our conversation, I'm glad you're trying to get help to get off the drugs.
That black tar, he'll get you.
I remember I heard that joke from Dane Cook, and I said that one time to my mom. She's like, "How do you know about black tar heroin?" I'm like, "Dane Cook."
But where did Dane Cook hear it from? Or was that his? Was that an original joke?
CK, just joke.
That's what I said. But yeah, Richie unfortunately cannot be here tonight. But Jordan is here, and Austin will be here in just a few minutes.
You must make that sound like a complimentary prize. Like, but Jordan's here. I guess we'll have a show.
Jordan's okay, and so
he ain't no Richie Goodacre, but it'll do. It'll do.
Did all your lights just go off?
Yeah, I'm watching. I'm gonna throw an ICW Fight Club. I haven't watched that in a long time.
You know what sucks? Unless you have the Eastern. Unless your cable provider gives you the Eastern version of all these channels, we're gonna have to be spoiled for Rampage tonight to do our predictions, because Rampage is live tonight, and we don't know the winner of the Dark Order and Best Friend, so we don't know who's facing the Elite in the Trios tournament. So hopefully by the time we get there, that match will have happened, which should be. Rampage is only an hour, and so
I don't want to know. I want to watch it live later at home live.
I know.
I'll make my own prediction without even knowing.
Okay, I don't know how that'll work because I'm.
And then once you start talking, I'm gonna go la 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 la.
Nice. But before that, there's also a little event on Sunday before All Out called Worlds Collide. Worlds Collide looking pretty stacked. Worlds Collide not just being NXT versus NXT UK anymore, but NXT versus NXT UK versus Raw. We've seen some main roster people make the jump down to challenge for some titles. What are your thoughts on the card just overall?
Let's see. Do I lie and act like I know what the card is? Do I tell the truth? No, I'm behind. So I was gonna hear it for the first time tonight. For the ones
so I'll run it down real quick. And this is the order of Wikipedia, not the order of the card. So we have Braun Breaker versus Tyler Bate to unify the NXT and NXT UK Championship. We got Mandy Rose versus Miko Satomura versus Blair Davenport to unify the Women's Championships. We have Katana Chance and Kaden Carter versus Doudrop and Nikki Ash for the Women's Tag Team Championships, the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. We have the Creed Brothers versus Brooke Jensen and Josh Briggs versus Gallus versus Pretty Deadly to unify the Tag Team Championships. We have Carmelo Hayes versus Ricochet for the NXT North American Championship. And we have Nathan Frazier versus Axiom in a best of 3 falls match.
Well, hot damn, that did come together nicely.
Yeah, a little surprised, but in a good way that, we got Doudrop and Nikki Ash and Ricochet making the trip over to NXT. I don't think they're doing anything at Clash of the Castle, so it's nice to see them being utilized. And real quick, before I get your thoughts, let's welcome Austin to the stream.
How's it going, guys?
I
know. Sorry.
Austin, who was 1 pick away from winning the predictions contest last time.
Trying to remember what it was. It was they couldn't give the Street Profits their win in in Tennessee, so I lost that one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even with the cheerleaders and everything, they couldn't give it to him. Oh well, what are you gonna do?
So, anyway, Jordan, real quick, what are your thoughts on the Worlds Collide card?
No, it's come together pretty nicely here. Good season of the UK talent haven't been just left in the dust. Gonna get a little bit of a closing chapter to the UK title, so I'm hoping it's a little bit of an even ground here too. Hopefully it's not just like a run through of just the UK guys and all the US guys win. So it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening.
Yeah, and real quick, we don't need to count these predictions because we don't need 26 matches. But just to share my predictions real quick, I'm gonna go Tyler Bate over Braun Breaker. I think maybe we'll see Braun Breaker on the main roster sooner rather than later. I'll go with Mandy Rose to retain and unify the women's championships. I think Katana and Kaden retain the women's tag team championships. I think the Creed brothers retain. Carmelo Hayes retains, and I'll take Axiom in the best of 3 falls match, even though that's the match I know nothing about. He's the one with the Wikipedia page, so I assume he's I don't know.
Axiom was the former A-Kid who had only wrestled 2 or 3 matches, and they're like, well, let's repackage him, and he's kind of a savant mathematics superhero.
All right.
First of all, I say we should count these predictions. Now let's have 3 contests this week, but that's just me. Let's see. For the women's title, I'm going to go with Davenport. I'm going to go with the outside horse there. Say the non-champion wins. I'm going to say Creed brothers retain their tag titles, but I'm going to say we get new women's champs. I think Doudrop and Nikki ASH are kind of overdue for a real major thing. Maybe Doudrop drops the name afterwards. I think Carmelo Hayes will retain. 2 or 3 falls. I'll go Nathan Frazier, actually. I'll go opposite of you. And then every title match is pretty hard to call because, like you said, I could see maybe Breaker being ready for the main roster, but at the same time, I think this might really solidify him as kind of the dude. So I'm going to say Breaker actually retains.
All right, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say Austin has no idea what we're talking about.
I have no idea what that is. Is this the NXT show?
Yeah.
Well, I don't watch NXT 2.0, but I did hear something interesting that Brian Alvarez was talking about. He said he could see Triple H starting the show with the lights out, maybe even just like a spotlight in the middle of the ring, and he brings up the lights, and it's the old black and yellow, and gets rid of the goofy colors, and it's like, this is NXT again. This is my NXT again.
I wouldn't be against that.
Be something.
Yeah, kind of starting from
scratch, man.
For the 3rd time. But no, I'd be pretty stoked if that happened. I don't know if I'll be able to watch this live, but I'll definitely be checking out the replay. I think it's got potential to be a pretty decent show.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know, Jacob. So what time? This is like 3:00 for us, or what time is this?
I believe it's 1:00 for us. I think it's 4 Eastern, because I don't think they want to compete with All Out.
Okay, and this
is All Out's pre-show. The Performance Center.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's jump in, and since Clash at the Castle is literally in 14 hours for me and Jordan anyway. For all of us, actually. I don't know why I said for me and Jordan. Literally, that's not how time works. I'm sorry. It's been a long week. Since it's in 14 hours, I'll edit that in post, guys. It'll look better. We'll start with Clash at the Castle.
Is it going to be an actual castle?
I hope so. I hope since it's like the first pay-per-view or live premium event in the UK in quite some time, that they give it a decent stage. And
I'm with you. I do hope they go all out for this staging here, make it almost Mania like level, or any pay-per-view like level 10 years ago, or 15 years at this point. But yeah, I agree. I've been hoping maybe they're going to start doing cool stages again, and this would make sense. First stadium show in forever there, so yeah, I think it has the potential.
Yeah, so for this one, I'm gonna start at the bottom of the Wikipedia page, since they like to put the big matches at the top. So the first match, that we will talk about is Edge and Rey Mysterio with Dominic Mysterio versus the Judgment Day, Finn Balor, Damian Priest with Rhea Ripley in their corner.
They're going to face the entire pay-per-view?
Entire I believe it's the 2005 version as well. The one where or 2004, is that the one where Eddie takes the nasty chair shot?
Yeah, that was the 04 one. Yeah, where he took the chair shot, he bladed too much, and then he bled like 2 gallons of blood. The rest of the match. Yeah.
2005. Jordan, correct me if I'm wrong because you're the trivia guy. 2005. That was the Cena JBL I Quit match, right?
Yes, as that Google Judgment Day 2005. Absolutely, that one.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I'm in this.
Dude, I Quit match, 22 minutes, 45 seconds. I think that right off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is why I'm in the semifinals of the Wrestling with Trivia, King of Wrestling Trivia. Totally because I earned my way there and didn't get a bye.
Alex Jordan defeated Paul.
Yes. Off-air happenings. But, Edge and Rey Mysterio versus the Judgment Day, because who's not tired of Rey Mysterio feuding with the Judgment Day?
Mm-hmm.
I, for one, don't really... I mean, I'm sure the match will be fine, just given the people involved, but I'm ready for this to end. I don't even think Dominic turning on his dad would make me care about this feud anymore. I'm over it. Ready for Edge to move on. Apparently, he's got a year left. And he wants to retire in Toronto next year. So let's move him on. Let's give him some of these dream matches, or not even dream matches, some rematches also that we may want to see one more time before he retires. But Austin, go ahead and start with you. Who do you got in this one?
I mean, you know me. I'm the guy on the crew who doesn't really watch a lot of the week-to-week stuff, so I'm not really sure too much what's going on. So I kind of just go off the cuff. Although I did pretty well last time, just kind of guessing. So, and I remember I got that one right, at least the Mysterio's one, I think. But yeah, you know what? I think Edge and Mysterio take it and they bury this Judgment Day shit once and for all. And I think Finn Balor and some of them get repackaged back in NXT.
Yeah, Finn Balor did make an appearance on NXT talking to Braun, telling him not to take Tyler Bate lightly. Tyler Bate, who has beaten... did he beat Walter? Yeah. No. Has he beaten Walter before?
I don't think
he's beaten some. I don't know, but he's probably beaten some big guys.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I just think like that this is a thing. I don't really see Triple H continuing this whole, thing anyways, because that was already started by the time he took over, and just kind of dumping this whole thing, letting Edge and Mysterio move on to something else. So maybe send Finn Balor back down to NXT, let him shine a little there as one of the, the OG veteran guys, have some good matches down there, bring a little pizzazz down there, and just get rid of this thing once and for all. So, I don't see why they would let Judgment Day get over on them and just keep going. There's really no point at this point. So Edge and Mysterio take it and bury this thing once and for all.
Yeah, Jordan, what are you thinking?
No, Tyler Bate has never defeated Walter. They've clashed twice, 30 minutes in progress, and 42 minutes at TakeOver Cardiff. That's a fantastic match. But Walter is 2-0 against Tyler Bate. I'll be the contrarian here. I do agree that I'm kind of ready for it to wrap up, especially if it is true that Edge is kind of, ready to wrap it up in general. I want to see him face other people. And just in general, like you said, you kind of already joked about Rey Mysterio, but I feel we already teased Monday, poor Dominic, but I thought I was going to be in the match, Pa. And so I feel like we're still not quite done here. Maybe, hopefully, we're done with the Edge part, but I'm going to give the Judgment Day. I say they're going to pick up the W.
No, actually, you're not the contrarian here, because I'm also going to go Judgment Day. I think. Well, then never mind. I think Finn gets some cheers. I think the UK crowd will show some respect for Finn. And yeah, I think Judgment Day could use the win.
Finn and Ripley by his side too.
Right. Yeah, Ripley. Thought Ripley was Australian. Am I wrong? Have I been wrong on that whole time?
Who's the other person in that clique?
Damian Priest.
Finn Balor turns on Damian Priest. They leave him in the ring. He gets cheered, and they both leave and break up and go their separate ways and start doing new things. That's my extra prediction.
Sworn Rhea Ripley was Australian. She is Australian. Okay.
Well, I just figured, like, you're foreign. Yeah.
USA. Oh.
No, this isn't sold out where it's a Canadian and a Japanese wrestler.
Yeah, USA.
That happened once in a match I was in as a 6-man tag, and I was in the 6-man tag, by the way. It's in Pro Wrestling Illustrated. And we fought, it's basically a Patriot ripoff called American Superstar. And people would chant USA, and the entire, all the heels were like, we don't disagree.
We're also American.
Literally, New York, Florida, Connecticut.
Right.
We're cool with that, guys. What is that supposed to make us mad?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Judgment Day, I think Finn gets the win. Edge and Ray, I think they're at a point in their career where they don't always need to win Judgment Day. If they're going to continue, I think need to win. I could care less if Dominic turns. But I'm a fan of Finn and Damian. So if I want to see them win, and then move on to something else.
Dominic's going to turn and he's going to say, I'm no longer Mysterio. I'm going to use my real surname,
Skywalker.
Dominic Guerrero.
Skywalker.
He's Eddie's kid.
Dominic
Skywalker.
So.
What a stupid ending. Anyways.
So yeah, that's the first match. Richie may or may not be putting his predictions in the chat, but we will get his predictions.
Too late. He had his chance. He can't win the prediction contest.
Actually, isn't it like already on where he's at? Isn't he in the future? So that's cheating.
He's already watched it.
I know. Yeah, it's already happened for him.
The second match we have. I think this could be match of the night. We have Gunther versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship. I think this match is going to be outstanding. Austin, who you got?
Well, these two guys will. And my prediction is that they will beat each other up a lot. Is that a solid prediction?
I think that's.
I predict at least one, if not two,
chops and clubbering arms and all kinds of good stuff.
We should make a.
We did a con.
How many chops?
Yeah. Okay. Here's one solid prediction. I think Gunther here in England comes out as Walter, and reclaims his old name in England, to a huge pop, and then beats the shit out of Sheamus. So yeah, Walter will win this and become Walter once again by the end of this match, especially in England. So
I wouldn't hate that. I'd be fine if that happened. I think to me the deed's done. And like, just leave it. Gunther's not that bad. We were just used to Walter. Really, at the end of the day, like neither name's that great. So I feel like the deed's been done. Let him just be Gunther.
No, it's okay. I'll be accepting all his apologies next week when he does. So that's fine.
I wouldn't be against it, but I also could just see it being like the deed's been done. It's not like Dewdrop where like this name is literally hurting him. You know what I mean? Like so.
Gunther.
Walter doesn't scream fear. He made the name fearful. Well, Walter sounds like my accountant. Like it wasn't like that name was that great to begin with.
I thought that name was great. He's just
because he made it great, just like he can make Gunther great.
No,
because it's pronounced Walter.
No, like make Walter great again.
Mwuga?
Yeah.
Okay. Jordan, who you got in this one?
Here's the thing. I'm gonna, as much as I personally just try to shoot down Pez's idea, I'm gonna tweak his idea and say Gunther wins, but maybe because of, and I'm gonna throw this out there, maybe Butch turns a little bit here. Maybe Butch turns alliances and he goes and grabs the mic and goes, I'm done with this. I'm done with that name, and I'm Pete Dunne. Okay, I stole that from Cultaholic, but still, I thought that was pretty funny.
I'm Pete Dunne with my old name.
Didn't he?
I do go with Gunther retaining. I think the story, maybe Sheamus getting a big win is cool, but I think the story of just Gunther again kind of solidifying that he is the dude. I don't think he's had a good pay-per-view match yet, if I'm not mistaken. So let this be the one.
Yeah, and I'm in agreement. I think Sheamus is like the perfect opponent for Walter.
Yeah, I didn't really think about it until that match was done with that 4-way contender, that 5-way contender. I was like, oh yeah, that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, it's a great idea. And no, I could see Gunther coming out to his old name. I mean, Matt Riddle's got his first name back. Angel Garza's got his name back, so maybe Triple H.
Wait, is Matt Riddle mad again? I didn't even notice.
Yeah. Okay. During
that's what I'm saying. Triple H is correcting some errors right now.
Those
are
very simple, quick ones. Like I see no harm in being like just slowly calling him Angel. No, you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. I just looked it up too, by the way. Yeah, Walter, not a single pay-per-view appearance since that weird Survivor Series. Not weird Survivor Series.
Yeah, the one that was like the 5-on-5.
2019. Yeah. So not a single time has Gunther 0 appearances.
Yeah.
But all in agreement here. But I do think it has the potential to be match of the night. Mm-hmm. Another one that has potential to be match of the night. Matt Riddle versus Seth freaking Rollins. Jordan, I'll go to you first this time. Who you got in this one?
I do fear this won't be match of the night because I feel like this is billed so far just as a normal match, right?
Yes.
And the fact that these two are Riddle's dropping F-bombs and like his ex-wife's been brought up, I definitely got a feeling like this is level 1. I feel like this is gonna maybe end in a smudge, a double DQ. You know what I mean? Like I just can't feel like this is it. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and I'll give it to Rollins via whatever. Just give it to Rollins in general and say that we're not done here.
Do you want it? Go. I don't know. We're just calling these predictions. If your prediction is a double DQ, you can go with that.
I'll stick to Rollins with it being, like I said, I don't have to. We've never said we had to be specific. There's Rollins in general. I think we'll walk with the W. Maybe Riddle will get DQ by himself. You know what I mean? Because he just took it too far. Maybe he'll get counted out. Yeah, I'll stick with Rollins, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was in the end like a draw. Because again, I just feel like there's no way this is just going to be a nice, clean 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean? Like, now the family's been brought up, F-bombs have been dropped. But like, we're just starting.
Right.
It's going to lead to a DNA match.
Austin,
or something, a family feud. No, I'm in the same relative line as Jordan. Only I'm going to say Riddle via shenanigans. But the feud will continue at whatever the next pay-per-view is, Survivor Series or whatever. Yeah.
It can't be Survivor Series. We're not.
Or whatever.
October. Yeah.
I don't remember what.
I'm saying I don't even know if there's probably
Extreme Rules.
Extreme Rules.
Extreme Rules.
So Extreme Rules makes sense because then Rollins will have some kind of Extreme Rules-ish match, whatever.
That's actually perfect. It's exactly what we're saying.
Yeah, they're gonna have like an I Quit, Extreme Rules, something or other, whatever. Something Shema Street Fight, whatever. Yeah. Something. So we're gonna take it to the streets. Yeah.
Which is exactly why I'm predicting this ends in a double count out or a no contest. We are not gonna have a winner.
No.
There will not be a winner. Crowd might not like the result, but
I do hope that, like, that's why I was like almost disagreeing with you at first, because I was like, I do hope they at least get something. I hope this is not like a 2-minute DQ. I hope we get at least a little bit of a match here. That's my only fear, is that like we're gonna go straight forward, like kind of like a SummerSlam segment almost, like where it's just a brief fight and the match is done in like 3 minutes. Like I hope we at least get a some sort of like match here, because it's a big enough show. I feel.
Yeah, the next show is October 8th, Extreme Rules in Philly.
Oh, so it is a full month without a pay-per-view. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I figured they're gonna shoehorn in something in September.
Which means one of the matches will be billed as a Philly street fight.
Probably.
What makes it different from a normal street fight? It's in Philly.
There's lots of people zombied out and drugged out around the ring, in Philadelphia anyways. They just bust some of them in and they just stand around. And you have to fight around them. Anybody seen those videos? It's pretty disturbing. I definitely don't think they should be doing WrestleMania in Philadelphia right now. It is a disaster.
But who's going to Cali next year?
No one. I ain't going to Cali either. Cali's a mess.
Jacob?
No. Should have been in Vegas in 40 like I was planning.
So I just rented out a box of the Lonely Marks and have to pay for myself?
We haven't asked Richie yet, have you?
I got a feeling he's going to say no.
That feeling is probably the correct one.
Mm.
All right.
What's next?
Up next, we have a 6-woman tag team match. Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka taking on Bayley and Kai and Sky, whatever they're going by. Which I would have thought Dakota Kai and Io Sky would be your new women's tag team champions, but I was wrong on that too. Pleasantly surprised. I think Raquel Gonzalez or Rodriguez, whatever her last name is now, and Aaliyah, they could be fun champions. I don't think they'll last long, but it's fun to give them something. That's just a side note. But who you got in this one? Austin, we'll go back to you.
The Kai and Sky team people. That's what I'll take. Yeah.
Didn't they? I thought they came up with it. I thought they had a team name. I can't remember off the top.
I don't know why you wouldn't use Kai and Sky. That's a great team name.
Bad bitches.
Mm-hmm.
No, Kai and Sky is a great team name.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're too new. I know they're not going to lose. They're too new. Yeah, as a unit, so they'll get a nice win here.
Jordan, what are you thinking?
Well, luckily, Triple H is in charge now, because if this was a couple months ago, I would have said maybe they're not, because I feel like every time I'm
agree.
Oh, it's Retribution, their first big win. Nope. Judgment Day, they're definitely going to defeat the Mysterios. They're a brand new faction. Nope. So, I feel like they purposely do that just to be like, you did it wrong. But yeah, I feel like it's obvious, right? Like Bayley, all three of them just came back. One of them a call up, the other two literally re-signed, and the other one back from injury. So like, yeah, it's got to be them, because I think we're not done. We easily have a story now of they win, Bayley goes after the singles, the other two maybe go for that tag titles again. Like, that's what makes sense. I'm gonna go with what makes sense. Big old Bayley and Kai and Sky win, but I've been wrong before with these.
Yeah, I mean, a month and a half ago you couldn't go with what made sense, but now you can.
No.
And I'm going with also going with what makes sense. I'm going Bayley, Kai, and Sky. And I think Bayley gets the pin on Bianca Belair, kind of setting up that singles match.
I think it'll be big enough to do that. Yeah, absolutely.
So.
And also credit too, like I'm kind of like in a weird way, like this is one. There's a lot of 6-man tags or a lot of 6-person tags this weekend. I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I mean it has the potential to be great.
It's all gonna break down, as they tend to do.
Yeah.
Force the damn rules, referee.
Well, I don't even know if you know, Pez, the card for All Out, but it's Trios Mania.
Jesus, yeah, I know it's multi-man mania, because we got to show as many people on those shows as possible, and there's matches on the pre-show that we'll get there, but that could headline any indie show in America, which is kind of nuts, if you know which ones I'm talking about. But like, there's 2 matches on that pre-show that I think could you could put as a main event.
Hogan, Angelo Parker, anywhere in the world.
I know, anywhere, man. Hey, I'd pay for it.
All right, the second women's match on the card, we got Liv Morgan defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Shayna Baszler. Jordan, who are you taking in this one?
Again, I just gotta go. I think Liv needs a nice, solid, nondescript win, so I'm gonna go with Liv. Unless maybe they're already over her, I don't know, but I'm gonna go with Liv. I think she's just, obviously no need to dominate. Shayna can still, hold the majority of the match, but then in the end. I would say even hopefully not even a roll up. I hope she gets like a real kind of like pinfall victory after a move or something. So we're gonna go Liv finally gets her shine.
Yeah. Austin, what are you thinking?
Liv will pull out a few new tricks that she learned in her training in prep for Ronda Rousey, and pull out a few new moves against Shayna Baszler that she'll show off and show that she's been learning and training. But Liv will take it.
Liv?
Yeah.
And I think this is where I will be the contrarian. I think we get a surprise, and I think Shayna takes the title. I think Shayna is due for a singles title run on the main roster. I believe she's had tag team title runs, but she hasn't had a main women's title run. I think she had a great run in NXT as the women's champion, and I think with Triple H in charge, I think we could see like almost like a reset, and you'll see what I mean with my next prediction as well. But kind of Triple H putting his stamp on like this is my WWE now. Everything that Vince had, we're gonna end it here, and it's a new era, it's a new regime, and I think it starts tomorrow. And I think Shayna starts a lengthy title run that does include a defense against Ronda Rousey. I think that's got some storyline potential. So
I don't hate it, but I'm always afraid that like you also don't want to undermine what you've started, even if it wasn't Triple H's idea. Like still, like I would feel really bad if this was the end of Liv, and it would remind me of last year with Nikki ASH. Like you really kind of need to finish this first reign, and she hasn't had that one reign to really make her legit. And I think if you take it off her now, it's gonna really kill any momentum going forward of even getting her back to it anytime soon, like Nikki ASH, who has just fallen since a lackluster title reign. But again, I'm not in mind basically getting it either, so we'll see.
Jacob's hoping for a WrestleMania Brawl for All match with Ronda and Shayna Baszler.
I've always thought them as a tag team would be an interesting idea because that's the one thing I kind of dislike about Ronda is that it seems like if she's there, she's in the title picture. Like, do something else for once. Find a different feud. I think her and Shayna would be great. That's why I kind of like the idea of like her being like, "Come on, Shayna, what happened to the Beast I used to know?" And like maybe like that being part of the reason they get together. But yeah.
All right, and the main event of the evening: Roman Reigns defending the undisputed WWE Universal Championship against Drew McIntyre. Roman Reigns just passed 2 full years as the Universal Champion. I think he's at like 160-ish with the WWE title. Don't fact check me on that. But like I just said, I think this is the start of a new era, a new regime, and I think Drew's taking it. I think Drew will be the one to end the reign. The home country guy. I don't know where exactly he's from that area. The home country, the UK guy, will get the victory. He will get the cheers. I think Drew's the guy to do it. And no, Theory does not try to cash in. Austin, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm torn because I know you got the Drew hometown thing. Roman's the easy favorite. I'll tell you what I have a hunch about. I think Triple H books sort of. Does anybody remember when Chris Jericho beat Triple H for the title?
Yeah,
like the fake one.
Well, he beat him, but then like an hour later, Earl Hebner overturned it.
Yeah.
I think Drew takes it, but there's some kind of something or other that gets overturned the next night on Raw. So they give him the win, the big moment, but then he gets stripped of it the next night. Paul Heyman points out something the next night that happened, and the decision gets overturned a day later.
I know something else. Something I've heard people throw out there is, in order to maybe keep that whole 2000 thing going, you could always do maybe the shenanigan of Paul being like, "Oh yes, we signed the contract for one title," and like they give him the other title that he's had less. So you know what I mean? Like maybe they could do some shenanigans like that. Because I do see what you're saying. Like I could see it being that moment, and then kind of
Drew will like win something, but there will be something after, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like I'm kind of with you, Jacob. They'll do something because he's there, but there will be something after, either an overturned thing on Raw or something with a contract. I don't know, something. So I'll still take Drew to actually get a victory. If that makes sense. Yeah.
All right, Jordan.
I'll go against the grain because I respect my tribal chief, unlike you people, and I think.
Which feels weird to predict Roman and be like,
I'm going against the grain here.
Going against the grain with Roman Reigns.
I could see it either way, man. I really could see it either way. I think there's a lot of fun to be had because you do have the one aspect of Drew never got his big old crowd winning title run. That still has yet to happen, and I thought it would have happened a long time ago. It didn't. So is this it? Maybe. But Roman's on such a really crazy reign. Are we waiting for Cody? Are we waiting for The Rock? Or are those moments past that we're just going to give it to Drew?
I think if Vince was in charge, yes.
Well, I could also see Triple H being like, because don't forget, Triple H is not going to disagree with everything Vince had on his mind. So, like, I think Triple H could also be like, yeah, Drew versus Rock with a crazy ass title reign, like, would still make sense. Or, I don't know if Cody pissed him off or not. Because there's always the joke of like Cody was smashing the throne, like maybe Triple H doesn't like him, and maybe his push is about to be killed. But who knows? I just think that the heat of Roman winning might be kind of great. Although
I have an idea similar to yours, Jordan, but for a different match we'll talk about later.
Okay.
For some heat,
I will say though, if Drew wins, I think we do get a cash in by Theory. But I think, like you've been saying all night, Jacob, I think Theory loses, and that's another way to kind of squash an old storyline of Vince's. You know what I mean? Like I could see it being like, oh shit, they're gonna give it a Theory, and then Drew fucking shuts him down, and we're done with that.
Well, kind of like how Roman and Brock shut him down at Mania, but it wasn't for it wasn't he never started the match or the SummerSlam whatever or SummerSlam. What you know what I mean? Like they shut him down before it started. Yeah,
but I think if Drew wins, it's gonna get official. I think the bell's gonna ring, and Drew's gonna claymore him and just win.
Right,
and we're gonna be done. Because again, I think at the end of the day, I don't see Theory being a world champion in the next 8 months or whatever it's left now.
Yeah, Theory to me just doesn't scream like a two title kind of main champion. Like if it was just one, if the titles were still split, I could see him having a short reign, kind of like the Miz did when he cashed in.
Miz, like they always toyed around with the titles a little bit more when there was too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mark Henry runs, Big Show runs. You know what I mean? So like, I think if they do go to 2, maybe Theory could cash in the future.
All right, so that is Clash at the Castle. Only 6 matches. No kickoff matches. And now we I wrote it down, and the portion for All Out is more than half or more than double the size of the Clash at the Castle predictions, because there are more than double.
So are we doing it just All Out? Did y'all decide, like, prediction wise, is it just going to be a mass whoever gets the most out of the both shows, or 2 separate things, or what?
No, 2 separate.
Okay. or if it's a tie, I guess it could go to the mass thing, right?
Yeah,
I'm saying if like 2 people tie for like the Clash of the Castle prediction, you could just then go into the All Out predictions to break the tie. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm on board with that.
I'm
on board with that because I never win.
All predictions total, whatever it is, 20 some odd predictions or whatever it is,
right.
21 or 22 predictions. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be a total of 20 because there are 14 matches on the All Out card. 3 of them being pre-show matches, 11 on the main card.
Isn't that about the same as what we got at Forbidden Door? Something like that? I believe
so, yeah.
It was like 10-3 or 11-3, something like that. Yeah, ended up being. Well, they added
5 of those were added after we did our predictions.
They added that Lance Archer thing after we, as soon as the pre-show started. Yeah, we all had to scramble to
real quick
prediction in.
Yeah. And Jordan, I would have picked Lance Archer. Yeah, sure you would have.
Anyways, so what do we got, Jacob, for the
so
All Out from Chicago pre-show?
The pre-show starts with Tomohiro Ishii versus Eddie Kingston.
That's on the pre-show? That's what I said when I saw that.
Pre-show match.
That's a pre-show match that could like headline any American like New Japan show, you know what I mean? Like easily, or any GCW show or a Black Label Pro, basically any show around the country, Eddie Kingston and Ishii is like a main event match. And they'll probably get like 10 minutes, and just now, granted, they're going to beat the shit out of each other for 10 minutes. Like, that's another pretty easy prediction. But yeah, they're gonna stomp each other's guts out for 10 minutes. But I'm looking forward to it. But still, it's amazing that will get people to tune into the pre-show. I think just seeing that.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree 100%. Excuse me. So, also, why don't you kick us off again? Who you got?
They'll kill each other. But I think Eddie will take it. Eddie will get a victory on the pre-show. He needs some good victories, and I think this will be a good one. Ishii is not really a regular anyways. He's kind of a occasional guy they bring in for matches. Eddie's the regular. He'll get the victory. I think that's a pretty easy prediction for this one.
Yeah, and he's a fan favorite. Make the crowd happy on the pre-show.
Yeah.
Get people to tune in. Although I think at this point, if you're watching All Out, you've already made up your mind.
Right.
So yeah, I'll take Eddie as well. Jordan, what do you think?
Yeah, some simple logic with you guys as well. I think Eddie, he's a dude that's gonna be sticking around. They could use a nice win. We haven't seen him in a couple of weeks. Supposedly maybe that's his fault. But yeah, unless maybe there's plans for Ishii, maybe if they have something in the back of their minds for a future Dynamite or Rampage, I think it is definitely possible that he could win it. And they're like, oh, maybe Cesaro or Claudio on Friday. You know what I mean? But I'll go with Kingston because he's just the normal one on the roster.
Yeah. So the next pre-show match is for the AEW All Atlantic Championship with Pac defending against Kip Sabian. Jordan, I know you just muted your mic, but why don't you go ahead and unmute it and tell us what you're thinking about this one?
Yeah, what a big build-up. Kip Sabian in the crowd for about 9 to 10 months. One attack, one promo, and now the title that we've never seen on pay-per-view, except for the crowning champion. We're getting on the. But I think it'll be a good match. I know there's another one that'll be a good one, but I think Pac really should have a good first win, even though he's defended on YouTube by other promotions. This is the first time I think we're seeing the title defended on an actual AEW proper. So yeah, I think it's got to be Pac. I'll go Pac.
Yeah. I'm 100% in agreement. Austin, what about you?
Yeah, same. Pac will hang on to it for a little bit. I don't see him dropping it to. If he's going to drop it, it's going to be somebody bigger than Kip Sabian at this point. So yeah, it's not Kip.
And with this, I believe
later I could see it being Kip, but I mean it's just too soon.
Yeah, it's too soon. He just popped up, so no.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe with this, the All Atlantic Championship will now have been defended on pay-per-view as much as the TNT Championship has this year.
If you include the pre-show, yeah. If you don't include the pre-show, then no, neither one has.
So, we have one more championship being defended on the pre-show. That is the FTW Championship. Hook taking on Angelo Parker. Hook doesn't lose, so Hook. Austin?
Hook ain't losing his dad's belt anytime soon.
Jordan?
I don't know about anytime soon, but he sure as shit ain't losing to Angelo Parker Sunday on the pre-show, so hell yeah. Hook, this is, if we had money or if we had confidence points, boom, 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 all the confidence points.
I'm putting my savings on this one pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm also going to put the caveat if this doesn't reach 2 minutes.
Same.
I'll give it 4.5.
Maybe because he's a Jericho guy. Maybe
2 3/4.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like he's a no name that just is out there to job. I mean, he's going to do the job. But...
His promo was longer than his match. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of Jericho, being a Jericho guy, we have Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho. A rematch from the very first episode of NXT. I've been very intrigued by the storyline revolving around Daniel Garcia. I think this is making a star out of him. I wonder just how much involvement he has in the match, if he has any involvement, if he is at ringside, if whatever. Watching from the stage, I'm curious about his involvement, but I think this is going to be a banger of a match. I think Jericho, even though he's getting up there in age, can still go. And Bryan Danielson is still one of the best wrestlers in the universe. Because I'm sure there's other universes out there with wrestling, but Bryan Danielson would still be the best there because he's the best here. And in the multiverse of wrestling, he is top dog in my opinion. So I'm stalling for time because I don't know where they're going with this. This is very hard to predict. I guess I'll just go with the hometown guy for myself, and I'll go Bryan Danielson. But if we'd had confidence points, like you guys were saying, this is the one where I would put the least amount of confidence points in, unless this has just all been a swerve by Daniel Garcia and he's going to attack Bryan Danielson. But I don't know. I'm going Bryan Danielson before I talk myself out of it. Austin, what are you thinking?
I'm also going to go Danielson just because I think Jericho will be fine if he gets a loss to Danielson. It's not going to hurt him. I think Danielson will come in with a fire after losing to Garcia on Dynamite. He'll come in with a little extra fire here, ready to get the win, and I think he'll take it over Jericho. I think Jericho's fine. He's Jericho. You know what I mean? Like he can lose to Danielson and it ain't going to hurt him. So, it's all good. I'll take Danielson to take this one.
Jordan, what are you thinking?
I agree that this one could go either way. I'll go kind of with the logic of I'll go with Danielson. Kind of the logic of we just saw Jericho have a nice big title match recently, so this could easily set up for Danielson versus either Mox or Punk later on if they wanted. Not saying that's necessarily they want to go, but something kind of in the back of my mind. He's always a worthy challenger for either one of those guys in the future. So yeah, I'll go with Danielson.
All right, kind of a boring prediction so far because we've agreed on all four so far, but maybe this is where we will differ. I don't know. We have a 4-way match for the interim AEW Women's World Championship. Stop with this interim champion BS. Somebody gets injured, they relinquish the title, and when they return, give them a shot since they never actually lost it.
Just say that in their contract it says if they got injured, they get an automatic rematch when they're ready to compete again. That's and that's all you need to explain it. One sentence. And they have to drop the title, but they get in their contract they get an automatic title match when they come back. Period. That's all you have to do. It's in my writing. That's it.
Solution.
Easy.
There you go.
Easy.
But the competitors will be Toni Storm, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Hikaru Shida. Toni Storm and Britt Baker make sense, but Jamie Hayter and Hikaru Shida, I don't know. I guess the rankings don't actually mean anything anymore in AEW, even though they say they do. I don't. I want to care, but it's the interim. Just I don't like it. I think it's going to be a great match. Still, I think all four women involved are fantastic competitors, but I think this one. If this was Toni Storm versus Thunder Rosa, I would still go Toni Storm. I think it's her time. So I'm going Toni Storm. Jordan, what do you think?
Me? What?
Yeah. No, the other Jordan.
Okay, sorry. I may be trying to find the new Spider-Man post-credit scene. I don't know. Maybe. So.
That's a different podcast.
Yeah.
No, but I want to see it. And
this is the Lonely Comic Book Nerd podcast. This is the Lonely Marks. Let's go.
The credit scene is. No, I'm gonna go with a little bit of the dark horse. I'm gonna say Jamie Hayter. She's in there just to kind of fill out the bubble here. I think maybe obviously the original match was Toni Storm. In fact, if you go to order it on Xfinity, it still says one of like the 3 matches they advertise in the description is Thunder Rosa versus Toni Storm. In fact, I'm pretty sure it says Thunder Rosa, which is also kind of funny. But as Xfinity for you. So I think we'll save the Toni Storm kind of singles big bout for later. I think Jamie Hayter gets it. Maybe a little bit in the ire of Britt Baker. So.
Awesome. Who you got?
I'm with Jacob. I'll take Toni. she'll hang on to it for a little bit and then maybe have some one-on-one stuff with Britt Baker outside of this match, to pass the time until Thunder comes back, if that makes sense. Because Britt's kind of she's a high-profile one-on-one match kind of person, you know what I mean? But I think they'll kind of set that up throughout the match, and then Tony will probably pin Ishida. But Britt, will just miss it or something, and then that'll set up them at the next pay-per-view.
You can see that. So we finally have one difference in our predictions here. Let's see if that continues in the next match. We have House of Black. That's, of course, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews. Because Buddy Matthews sounds like a very menacing name. Taking on the three-man team of Darby Allin, Sting, and Miro. There's been some news recently that Malachi Black apparently has asked for his release, but was not granted his release by Tony Khan. Apparently he's dealing with some personal stuff, and rather than just releasing him, they want to help him work through whatever it is he's going through. I don't know how true those rumors are because, of course, until you hear it from the company themselves, it's all just rumors. But if there's some truth to that,
I'm the guy out of the loop on the week to week thing. How did the Miro part of this come about? Teaming with Sting and Darby, was that set up anywhere?
Yeah, Jordan, you probably watch the show more than I do, so I know that Miro's been feuding with House of Black. Darby Allin and Sting have been feuding with House of Black, so it's like the enemy of.
They literally said it on Wednesday. It's the whole enemy of my enemy thing.
Yeah.
So you're not, buddies, but it's the fact that they both got problems with the House of Black. You've had a lot of Brody King and Darby interaction, casket match there. Even Rusev, Miro not getting the title, and then Julia Hart and them trying to kind of maybe bring him to the dark side, but it didn't quite work. So yeah. Not the best build, but there has been definitely inches of it, throughout the last month or so.
Yeah. So, Austin, who you taking in this one?
This is kind of a toss up for me. I could go either way on this because they tend to like to give Sting some nice, feel good wins and things on pay per view. But I think I'll go with the logic of the cohesive unit that is House of Black will overtake the non-cohesive unit of Miro, Sting, and Darby Allin. Maybe Miro accidentally wipes out Darby or Sting or something, and the House of Black uses their cohesive three-way nature to overtake those guys. So I'll take House of Black just because I think it can also strengthen them to maybe be future contenders for that trios title. Because I definitely want to see that trio, face whoever the champions are. Because that'd be great. Some good stuff.
Jordan, what are you thinking?
No, Pez kind of said it perfectly here. Usually I would just straight up say House of Black because, again, they're the actual unit. All the other three are just kind of put together for the night to get to this match here. And now that there is trio titles, it even makes more sense for that. This is a good solid win to get to a later on match. Maybe I'll be a mark and kind of also use backstage logic of, if maybe Black is on his way out, is this just the way to, all right, let's give to the other ones. And I also have the logic of Sting. They do like to give him kind of fun moments. I'm going to say Sting, Darby, and Miro actually get the win.
Yeah. And then, I'm sorry, Austin, I already forgot. Who'd you take?
House of Black.
House of Black. Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, you did.
Jordan differed from me and my logics. Yeah, I'm thinking House of Black. He's taking Sting in that.
So I was like, wait, you're agreeing with him, but did I mishear?
Well, he's agreeing with me about the cohesive, but he might think Sting to win.
The points are all valid. This is why I'm torn. Yeah. It's just a matter of I'll use that backstage logic of okay, if Black's on his way out, no point in giving him a match or a win rather, and they like giving Sting moments. So let's have the faces win.
Yeah, I mean they like giving him moments so much that he is undefeated. He is not lost.
even
AEW. So
he doesn't have to get pinned in the match to them to lose. They can pin Darby Allin. That's all I'm saying. So yeah.
Well, they have like the overall they have tag team and trios, and he's 1-0 in tag team, 2-0 in trios, 10-0 in his overall career in AEW. I think I will also go Darby Allin, Sting, and Miro. I wouldn't be surprised if House of Black got the victory. I do think they could use that. They could use a big moment, and kind of. I mean, they should still be in the trios tag team tournament if you think about it. I mean, Miro did strike not one but two of the House of Black members while the match was going on, and the referee did not call for the disqualification. Aubrey, you're better than that. But regardless, they lost. But I will also go Darby Allin, Sting, Miro. I think when Sting finally does lose, they'll make a big deal out of it. And I know All Out is one of their bigger shows, but they do find a way to make all their shows feel big. But I don't think the talk has been, oh, Sting has never lost in AEW. I don't think that's the storyline here. But so if it was, I feel I would be more inclined to go House of Black. But also, if the backstage news is true, I could see Black taking some time off and working through whatever personal issues is going on. But if those issues aren't true, I'm looking forward to him wrestling some more because he's great.
His issue is Paul is calling him going, I miss you. Would you like to come work with your wife and earn some money?
Well, apparently Braun Strowman is set to return. So, I mean, he's making calls.
Is somebody going to get those hands?
Well, you know, that, what was it? That England promotion didn't quite work out. The one with AOP.
Yeah, but apparently.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy about that. Yeah,
right.
Calling them out on, like, they never even got their itinerary. Oh, yeah, a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
Apparently, Braun Strowman does not want to control his own narrative anymore.
No, he wants to control his paycheck a little bit better.
Yeah. He needs to control his financial situation. Yeah.
All right.
Do that, or nobody else is willing to pay $10,000 for him to make an appearance at a show. Nobody's got that kind of money right now.
He's found that out quickly. Yeah.
Yeah. What indie promoter? You know, that's the same thing. I had that story about the one indie promoter who, like John Morrison, wanted like $3,000 in a hotel and a plane, you know, for a thing. And it's like, bro, if you're an indie promoter, you offer that dude $500 in a hotel room, you know, take it or leave it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if he leaves it, so what? If he takes it, great. You know, like, you know, you got any other offers this weekend? No, then take it. You know
I won't say who, but yeah, there's a former WNXT guy who, like, I just kept saying no, like, not out of meanness, just out of like facts of like, no, I'm not going to do that, and he kept lowering. No, I can't. No, and like I literally had gotten down to like less than half of what he started at.
Yeah, right. It's like, no, sorry.
I won't say who, but I will off air.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
We'll get into the match that I'm sure everyone cares about. That's the TBS Championship.
Oh, good.
Jade Cargill versus Athena. At least I think this one has been more built up than past TBS Championship matches that have happened on pay-per-view. So at least it's got that going for it. It's got a story to it. Although I feel like Athena debuted so long ago that this match should have happened like a month ago or whatever. But it's happening at All Out on Sunday. And Jordan, I want to know, who are you taking?
Yeah, it almost sounds hypocritical because I agree with you that, like, well, I guess there's been some build to this, but it's taken so long to get to because it was the last pay-per-view, basically, you know, and they only do pay-per-views every 2 months. So it has felt like they didn't get to this quickly enough. They've segued with Madison Rayne and other people here. And even the build itself has been kind of like wonky. Like she slapped Stokely one time, and like there's been a couple of OK promos. You know, I don't see Athena ending the reign, similar to logic of Roman Reigns, of like you built this almost Goldberg-esque like person up. Whoever does it, I think it's going to be something big. It's something special. I think it'll be something quicker, too. Like, if this was a month or two ago, I think I'd be more inclined to say maybe. But I feel like by now, I think the special – and I don't mean to be mean because I love Athena, but I think the kind of special part of it has worn off. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I think Jade Cargill, again, gets a victory here at the 7 minutes and 39-second mark.
Yeah, I'm in 100% agreement with everything you just said, and Jade is going to win this. Austin.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, I'd just pass. But, you know, yeah, no, Jade. Yeah, it's not ending anytime soon.
Yeah. All right, and another match with an extremely long build that goes back to a past Casino Battle Royal where one Jungle Boy eliminated Christian Cage. I believe that was like a year and a half ago now. But we have Jungle Boy taking on Christian Cage. Austin, who are you taking in this one?
I'll take Christian in this one. I don't think Jungle Boy gets the win quite yet. I think he will, but after a little more. I think they stretch it out just a little bit further, another pay-per-view or two, and then maybe in some kind of individual ladder match or something. Maybe putting Christian to the test of his own thing or something. I don't know. But yeah, I don't see it just yet, so I'll take Christian on this one.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, but for different reasons. I think Christian wins, but I think we get a disqualification finish. I think Jungle Boy just absolutely snaps on him, and Christian uses that in the following week, saying, I won. When you look in the record book, it says Christian defeated Jungle Boy. So I think Christian does get the win, but I think it's by disqualification. Jordan, what are you thinking?
I don't know what match you're talking about because the match I'm looking forward to is Christian versus Jack Perry.
Wikipedia hasn't changed it yet.
So I'm looking forward to it. I think this one has had a decent build. Some good promos here talking about people's wives and mothers and all that junk.
You raised a piece of
100% see the logic you guys are going with. I think this might not be the end as well, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the feel good moment and say Jungle Boy gets the win. I think we're kind of ready for him to get back into that singles picture that they kind of teased early on, and I think matches with like him and Pac and just whoever could be pretty cool. So I'm gonna say Jack Perry gets the win. Especially what solidified it for me was the fact of him going with Perry. I feel like that's another instance of like, this is a tide turning for Mr. Perry.
See, I can see Christian getting the win where Jungle Boy nearly beats him a couple times, and he gets frustrated and maybe smashes Jungle Boy with a chair or something like that. Maybe he freaks out, gets himself disqualified, and runs away, and he runs to continue the feud, and maybe it sets up like a cage match or something.
No, this match definitely has possibilities of any outcome, of a Christian win, of a Jungle Boy win, of a Christian DQ win, of a, you know what I mean? This match definitely, it really depends on where they're going. You know what I mean? Are they kind of done with this? Are they, is Christian kind of want to do something else? Or are they, this just the beginning? Is this going to be something that will lead for the next month or two? Right. I don't know.
I don't think this is the last match. Let's put it that way. This is not the blow off to the feud yet.
That's what I'm saying. I definitely get your logic. I definitely can see. To set up more.
Once again, we have another 6-man tag team match. This time we have Wardlow and FTR, who I believe refer to themselves as.
Will he powerbomb? Oh wait, did they drop that?
Yes, because it is Wardlow and FTR taking on Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. If I could do some fantasy booking, I would love for them to like find a way to take Wardlow and Jay Lethal out of the match, so it's just FTR and the Machine Guns. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, I have an idea about that, Jacob, as part of my prediction.
Why don't you kick us off then?
I think Lethal and the Guns take it, with the Guns getting a victory over FTR to set up a Ring of Honor pay-per-view match for the Ring of Honor tag team titles, FTR versus the Motor City Machine Guns in Ring of Honor, because if they pin them here, that would get them the chance there. So I say Lethal and the Guns take it for that reason, and it will set up what should be an outstanding match on a Ring of Honor pay-per-view.
I'm in agreement with you on the Guns FTR Ring of Honor title match. However, I think at some point the action just spills all over. I think the Guns and FTR kind of just start fighting. They make their way to the back. Wardlow and Jay Lethal are left in the ring. Wardlow does his powerbomb thing. gets the win over Jay Lethal, but I think he can still get that set up for an FTR Machine Guns match down the line, because that match is absolutely money. I'm gonna go Wardlow, FTR. Jordan, what about you?
I'm trying to think of whether or not I want to admit that I was gonna go with you, Jacob, but I feel like Pez convinced me.
Yeah, I could definitely see that also. But I'm sticking to my guns.
I feel like the guns are too random for this just to simply be 6-man tag. They lose, bye bye. I feel like the money is them and FTR against each other. If they lose the 6-man, even if it is Lethal staying get the pin, I feel it's not as juicy as Motors Machine Guns and Lethal getting the win and kind of goading into rematches. Lethal and Wardlow somewhere down the line on a whatever. And then, and I love the idea of, forget that Ring of Honor's in the back of the minds. Like, oh yeah, that definitely could be something that, whether it's Final Battle or if they're going to do a Glory by Honor, whatever, soon. So,
didn't they already book Wheeler in some kind of pure title match for some pay-per-view coming up?
No. That's just straight up Wednesday, I believe.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. Yeah. So the pure title is on the line soon. I could see Garcia walking out as champ, or seeing maybe like Jericho screw him and setting up a Jericho Garcia feud. That's another kind of thought I have. But I'm gonna go with Machine Guns and Lethal. I think this is gonna lead to just rematches on both ends here, and
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens.
I think you could be mad at it. I think you could pin Cash in the match, because Dax has been kind of like the standout singles guy, if that makes sense, on the shows.
Yeah.
So Cash could take the fall to set up the match, and you wouldn't have to pin Wardlow or anything like that. Wardlow could still look strong, in the match, take out a couple of people here and there, but get like some kind of flash pin on Cash or something like that.
Yeah, I think as long as it's not Wardlow, because I feel like he's too much.
No, they won't take out Wardlow.
I could see either Revival getting pinned though, because you always have the caveat of like, that's a good win, but it's not quite the same as defeating them on just a normal tag match,
Right.
With Lethal, with Dutt, with Satnam, I'm sure there is managers involved too that could play a factor. So
it's true. All right. Before we go into our predictions for this next match, which would be Claudio Castagnoli versus Wheeler Yuta versus Penta versus Rey Fenix versus Rush versus Andrade El Idolo versus Dante Martin versus TBD. I want to know, do you guys have any thoughts on who TBD could be? Is it a debut? Is it a return?
TBD, aka FYI, is going to be. You go first.
Yeah.
You go first, Jacob.
I'm honest. I honestly don't know. I could see it being MJF. I could see MJF being the TBD, and then maybe if Punk wins at the end of the night, we see that standoff. Like, hey, it's me again. But I'm not 100. I'm not confident in that. I could see it being somebody from like a different promotion. This is one of those times where with all these returns coming to WWE now, it's I don't think there's
for the most part. I feel like it's always been a debut, but you could definitely go the route of a return.
Well, because you had Adam Page as the Joker, and whatever match that was. I don't think it was a pay-per-view match. I think it was a Dynamite match, but it was still like. Page was the
ladder match. I'm talking the ladder matches. I feel like it's been Page's debut, Cage's debut, and even the Battle Royal has been like Leo Rush's. Like, I'm just feeling more times than not it's a debut, but it can be
somebody on the roster.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because it was Page returning, because Page had that he lost his chance to compete for the title, but he won the ladder match or whatever it was.
I'm going to take somebody on the roster and say they need a big guy in this match and take Samoa Joe.
I guess. I just don't know if that would be why hide him though. Like, it's not like that dude's been gone that long. I just don't get why you wouldn't. I just feel like it's gotta be someone more like weird, like MJF or a debut. Like Joe.
I have an idea for. Well, it's because I have an idea for MJF later.
Okay. Oh no, that's fine. I'm just saying. I was just saying for Joe wise. I just feel like they would just announce him like last week. if he was in it.
Well, who's to say?
This is another one.
Who's to say they won't just announce it on the damn pre-show? They won't just say who it is.
Right?
Am I wrong, Jacob? Has this also not been built very long?
No,
I feel like
they had a 4-way. They had a 4-way, I believe, last week.
This week,
or was it this week? Yeah, was that 4 was this week? Yeah, yeah. So, the build has not been.
The build has been
long.
crazy fast because usually there's like qualifiers and everything, and they just announce these people like, by the way, they're in this, and this is happening again. Yeah, there's been no build to this. It'll be a fun match. It's wacky ass Money in the Bank, ladder antics.
It could be. I've seen him working out a lot. He looks good. He looks like he's ready to come. I could see Brian Cage making his return here.
No, because again, he's the Ring of Honor guy. I feel like he's there.
Yeah,
is there anyone Dante Martin? Is there anyone Dante Martin is associated with that could be? Because you look at it, you got Claudio and Wheeler, Penta and Ray, Rush and Andrade. So yeah, you got kind of like 3 teams there.
That might be hailed again.
Who's been injured 2 weeks after he returns every time.
Yeah, poor Darius. Yeah,
but.
I don't have a major hint as to the Joker.
So I guess our prediction will just be either somebody that's been announced or you just take the mystery participant.
You can take, I say you're definitely allowed to take Joker if you want.
Yeah, because I get why Claudio and Wheeler are in this match, but I don't like that you have a world champion in a match for a chance at a world championship match.
It does make the Ring of Honor title seem less. Yeah, I agree with that.
So,
you would never put fucking Moxley in this. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
No, and not knowing who TBD is, that makes this one a little tougher than the other matches. I'm gonna go. I'll go with the mystery guy. I'll go TBD. But again, if we had confidence points, putting like 0.1 confidence.
Yeah, because this is the kind of match you can't use a shit ton of logic on, because one, it could be the Joker. If it's just somebody they want to push, like an MJF, or definitely like if they were like, oh, let's do Joe, and Joe will get a match, cool. So like it's really just hard to know. Like it's basically whoever Tony Khan wants to push. Like it's literally like there's no.
Shawn Spears is finally returning. But yeah, I'll take TBD, but I don't care if I'm wrong on this one. Austin,
I'm gonna take Claudio because it goes towards something I'll talk about later.
Jordan,
I will take. Give me the names again.
Claudio, Wheeler, Penta, Ray, Rush, Andrade, Dante Martin, TBD. I did that all without looking at the Wikipedia page.
I'm gonna go Andrade. I feel like he's also kind of owed something a little bit big.
This could be the tiebreaker because we're all taking different ones in this one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we've all got this different.
Well, then we're all screwed when Rush wins it. So.
Well, screwed when Braun Strowman comes in and wins this thing.
You know who could pay my fee? Tony Khan.
Yeah.
This is kind of the. Well, no, I guess we did have a 4-way, but yeah, this is kind of the only one with multiple options.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one could be the decider. We were just talking confidence points, and if I had confidence points, I would put them all in this match. Swerve and our Glory, Keith Lee, Swerve Strickland, defending their titles against the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed just seem like such weird challengers. Like they were feuding with the Gun Club, and now they've got a tag team title match.
I thought rankings mattered in AEW.
So I'm easily going with Swerve because I think Daddy Gun is swerving Swerve and our Glory, or the Acclaimed, and if Billy Gunn is in the Acclaimed corner, I think the Gun Club make an appearance and the shenanigans happen. Seems like a weird way for a face team to get a victory, but I don't think that that thing is done yet, even though it should be also. But I'll go Swerve, and I also just don't think their title reign is ready to end. Austin?
Yeah, Swerve in Our Glory, because I don't know why they claimed is getting a tag title match.
Jordan?
Listen. Yo, listen.
Yeah, hey, John Cena called. He wants his gimmick back.
This is you know what? Whatever, man. They do great. Everyone loves the Acclaim. Hey, Jacob, scissor me.
It was a callback to the rap battle Jacob, where I'm not scissoring you.
Fez.
Oh.
No, you're not. You gotta scissor me.
I will not scissor another grown man.
I don't know how to do mirror like things. Okay.
All right, we did it. All right.
This is a PG podcast, you guys.
Well,
we're just playing rock paper scissors. We each took scissors, and now we got to do it again.
All right. Yeah. I guess we can go PG-13.
Yeah,
it's not my channel.
Fuck yeah.
Well, now it's R because you said it twice.
Oh. Well, cunt. Sorry. Yeah, this is a weird one, man. Like, cause they were feuding with the Gun Club, and Swerve in Our Glory were kind of involved a little bit, like for a run-in. And this is another one that's kind of, I don't really know who I'm supposed to root for because so far they've been built as both teams. I think there's a possibility that there's a fallout, and the Acclaim kind of get that upset. But I think the safer choice is Swerve in Our Glory getting the victory.
All right, yeah, all agreeing there. Up next, I don't think we'll all agree here. Jordan and I have kind of talked about this match before. It's Ricky Starks taking on Powerhouse Hobbs. Jordan, we'll go ahead and start with you this time.
This one I think is hard to tell too because both men I think are on the come up. As the cool kids say now, I think there's huge potential for both. I think I'm just slightly more like promo wise. I'm a Ricky Starks guy. I think he's had the more promos to begin with too on air, which could be either a good or a bad sign. So I'm gonna say Ricky Starks gets the W over Hobbs.
All right, Austin.
I'm gonna say Hobbs overpowers him at some point. Like Starks puts up a good fight, but Hobbs takes it in the end, and they'll keep going a little bit.
I think Hobbs absolutely destroys him. I think Ricky Starks gets a little bit of offense in at the beginning, but then Powerhouse Hobbs just absolutely destroys him. Ricky's got to, find himself. You build up that big babyface win that Ricky eventually gets, but I don't think he gets the victory at all out. And even if I'm wrong on that prediction, and Powerhouse Hobbs wins by barely
I'm
escaping.
saying right now, if Hobbs doesn't win by destroying him, you get no points. No, don't destroy the man, Jacob. Get off my creative team.
Well, he's just saying, if he gets in over his head and thinks he can fire, and then go toe-to-toe with Hobbs, and he's mistaken, and he gets, Hobbs lays his ass out, teaches him a lesson, and he's got to, find some other way to get in there. I get what Jacob's saying. I don't think it'll be a squash, but it could be, a few minutes. It could only go 5 minutes. I could see that, especially if they get their time cut with all these damn matches. This will be the one to get their time cut. Yeah.
Right. So we're now at the portion of the predictions, Jordan, where we are discussing the trios tag title. I know that I know that Rampage has not aired for us, and you want to watch it live. So
I know what happens.
I know what happens too. I refreshed the Wikipedia page because so Jordan, if you don't want, you can mute your computer, and I will give you a signal as to when we are done discussing it.
Just discuss. Just go ahead as normal.
So we have the Elite taking on Hangman Adam Page and the Dark Order, Alex Reynolds and John Silver
That sucks.
in the finals. I wanted Best Friends too.
I did too, man. I
wanted Orange Cassidy to.
The only person that's gonna walk away a first time champ is potentially 2/3 of the Dark Order, and I don't think they're gonna win. So I think that sucks.
So am I hearing the Elite as your prediction?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and just lock that in, man. Yeah, I think Hangman Page is due for a heel turn. He's reluctantly even kind of joined the group now. They had to set up the whole Ten's hurt and now Uno's hurt, so like to shoehorn him in there. And yeah, I just think the bigger names on the draw is Bucks and Omega. Although yeah, it really should have been Best Friends or somebody fresh.
Well, I think Hangman Adam Page is due for a heel turn, but I don't think he turns heel alone. I think the Dark Order as a group go heel once more. And I don't think Kenny Omega needs to come back and become the first person in the company to win 3 different titles, that being obviously the world, the tag, and now the trios. I'm on Dark Order. I think this is the surprise of the night. I think Dark Order wins this. I do think Adam Page and the Dark Order turn heel. So that's my prediction. Dark Order. Austin, where are you going with this one?
I'll take the Elite to turn babyface and the Order to turn heel. And the Elite takes it and then feuds with Ospreay and the Aussie Open as the heels, setting up further things with Omega and Ospreay in singles.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's got money written all over it too.
Yeah.
So, all right, and now the main event everyone's been waiting for, even though we saw it a week ago for free in the squash, basically. We have Jon Moxley defending his AEW World Championship without the interim in front of it now against CM Punk, who signed an open contract, because this build absolutely makes sense. I never thought now that I would be saying WWE has built up their main title match a lot better than AEW. But I think Roman versus Drew has had the better build than Moxley versus Punk, because I think the match was unnecessary. But that's happened. We'll just discuss the prediction. Austin, we'll go to you first.
So I'm going to weave you a story here. I've been waiting to do this. So I don't think it was unnecessary what happened on Dynamite, because I think in Chicago there's a little character named MJF who makes his return. He promised he would humiliate CM Punk in the biggest way possible and give him the biggest humiliation of his career. What a bigger humiliation would it be than for him to tap out in the middle of the ring in Chicago to Jon Moxley after MJF attacks his leg with some kind of apparatus. Jon Moxley then puts on an ankle lock or something to that effect, taps out CM Punk in the middle of the ring in Chicago to the shock of everyone in Chicago. Follow it up on Dynamite. Punk calling shenanigans, cutting promos. I want my rematch. No, motherfucker. That was your rematch. Remember? I already beat you on Dynamite. That was your rematch. You don't get no goddamn rematch. Wins and losses matter here. Remember, brother? I'm moving on to bigger and better things. I not only beat you once, I beat you twice. I don't have anything else to prove to you. You can go back to the bottom of the card and work your way up again. Jon Moxley then goes on to have a 3-way at the next pay-per-view of the Battleground Combat Club with Claudio when he wins his ladder match and Bryan Danielson beats Chris Jericho. And they have a 3-way Battleground Combat, or not Battle, Blackpool Combat Club match for the title. And Punk has to start back over again and work his way up with an injury. That's my thought. I'm taking Moxley to not only win, but to tap out CM Punk in the middle of the ring in Chicago.
I don't hate it. Jordan, what are you thinking for this one?
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I will also go with, I don't know about that.
Of course, Punk could always just get the babyface win in Chicago and he wins. But I'm still taking Moxley.
No,
there's a more interesting story there if you actually pull the swerve. To me personally,
I don't mind the swerve, and in fact, no, I'm gonna go with Moxley myself as well. Actually, retaining, I think it's the more interesting story. I think it will solidify Mox even more as a champion by finally having now a banger, hopefully with Punk. 15, 20, 25-minute match, and still coming out on top. Punk can and will lose in Chicago, and I think this will be a big moment for Mox. And you can tell kind of continue that story of Punk maybe trying to find himself and come back, or the MJF thing, which I'm down for as well, if that is what will come to fruition. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Moxley.
Yeah, I think if anyone else on the roster, except for a couple people, were champion facing Punk, I would go Punk because I think that's just the safe. I think Mox, if you're going to keep him as that, he's a baby face, but I don't really care what you have to say, baby face.
Yeah. He's in that vein of, I'm not saying he's exactly like Steve Austin, but Steve Austin would say the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about you. I don't care if people like me, don't like me, whatever. I'm going to beat your ass. And I don't care what you guys think about it. You know what I mean? I don't trust you. I don't trust anybody. He's in that vein where he's like that baby face, but he's got that edge where he's in for himself as well.
Yeah. So for that reason, and I think he's just the more interesting champion right now. I think there's a lot of potential matches you can go here. I'm also going to go Mox. And if you would have told me 2 or 3 months ago that I was taking anyone over Punk in Chicago, I would have called you a liar to your face. But I'm taking somebody over Punk in Chicago.
I think he's proven himself as a worthy champion to carry the company at this point. And I think he surprised everybody by really proving himself these last 2 months, having great matches, really being that guy. To put it back on Punk, to me, would seem cheap at this point. I think it's more interesting if you have him lose and then have him maybe even go heel on everybody, something like that, and start some fresh feuds with some other people, work his way back up, and then eventually, you have a heel Punk versus a babyface Moxley, like something like that. I think you could work that, for a long-term thing later in the meantime.
Yeah. So, yeah, those are our predictions.
And then watch it be Punk just wins in Chicago and walks away with the title. And,
right.
Yeah, and we just
crowd gets happy, and then MJF, who wasn't the Joker in the ladder match, attacks him, and crowd goes home absolutely booing MJF because Tony didn't fire him. You effing Mark. We will get Richie's predictions, and we'll see how his stack up against ours. For all 20 of these matches, a big weekend of wrestling, and 3, I think, great shows on the horizon. All right, I want to know, what's your show stealer for both Clash at the Castle, which, I mean, there's only 6 matches, so it's a little easier to choose. But what's your show stealer for Clash at the Castle and your show stealer for All Out? Jordan, what's your potential show stealer?
I think Ricochet and Carmelo could have a great one here. They remind me actually to a degree a lot like each other, so that might steal the show. Going over to, we're not doing a stealer of the night for Clash.
That's the one I said. You went Worlds Collide instead.
You went with the other one.
Okay.
which is okay. Which is okay, because I will also agree with you, though. Carmelo Hayes.
Why do you hate NXT, and why can't we also do for that?
Because I wanted to include Austin.
I didn't know the NXT, so I'm not going to make a prediction for that.
Yeah, right. Okay. So that's my NXT one. The Castle. Yeah, I gotta go. I think I'm the most interested in how Sheamus and Gunther will turn out, and then finally for AEW. I almost want to say Kingston and Ishii.
The pre-show.
But no. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I'm kind of interested in how Jericho and Danielson will turn out.
Yeah. Austin, what are you thinking? I think show stealers.
Gunther and Sheamus could definitely steal the show if they give him some time. If they give him a good 12 to 15 minutes, to actually work a match, beat the hell out of each other. They could have a lot of fun. And then for All Out, one of two. I think either the ladder match could definitely steal the show. That one's got potential all over it, obviously, to just be insanity. Or I think the dark horse to steal the show could be the FTR Wardlow, Lethal and the Guns. 6-man could really be like a mid card show stealer, for sure. Yeah. So because there's that could be some good shit right there. If they really give him some time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in agreement, Gunther. Which is funny because I actually wrote Walter down for your prediction for our predictions.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even write
He'll
Gunther.
be Walter by the end of the night. You mark my words.
As far as the show stealer for All Out, I think I'll go with the women's match. I think the women's match is going to be great.
You're talking about the Jade Cargill match, right?
No, the 4-way. Okay. The 4-way. I think that match is going to be great. I think Jericho and Danielson will also be great. I think that match opens the show. I think we're going to open the main card with Jericho and Danielson. What do you guys think opens All Out?
Well,
whenever you have a thought, just
I'd say the trio styles.
Trios? Well, I could see that.
I think I think Sting will open the show. Sting and Miro and Darby versus the House of Black.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they'll open with a trios. Do the other FTR trios in the middle and the other one near the end of the show. Spread them out.
Yeah, you do. You do want to spread. Yeah, you definitely want to spread out the multi-man matches.
Yeah. And since that one I said is kind of least future consequence, if that makes any sense. Not that it doesn't matter, but the other one, like I said, FTR and the Guns could have potential for a Ring of Honor thing, in the middle of the show, and then. I think you still save the trio stuff for near the end of the show. That's a pretty big Omega back on pay-per-view for the first time is a big deal. I don't think you open the show with Omega. I don't, because isn't it his first pay-per-view back since coming back?
Yeah.
So I think he needs to be near the top of the card there. So
yeah. I think obviously Mox and Punk are main eventing. What goes on right before the main event? Is it a cool down match, or do they save kind of their best two matches? Is it the trios title? Do they go on before the main event? I'm not sure. I'm not sure where they go. I could see them doing Jade Cargill and Athena, because those TBS title matches have gotten 6-7 minutes. It could be a nice cool down before you pump them back up with that main event. So I think, I'll go with it. I talked myself into it. I think Jade Cargill and Athena go on just before the main event. What do you guys think goes on right before the main event?
I think the trios goes on right before the main. I think they'll save the two for the two.
Okay. Because they've done that before, yeah.
Because I think the entrances for the main will be long enough to where it'll kind of spread it out. Because I could see Moxley taking a really long time to get to the ring, doing the wild thing, all over the arena, and Punk as well could have a really extended entrance in Chicago. And I think there would be and they'll have a long video package, probably one more to do it. So I think you can still do those back to back, and it would be okay. So I'm gonna say they just go back to back. Yeah, because again, to me, it's that Omega factor of him being back. I think he still does the semi-main event slot. You know what I mean? He's right there at the top. I don't think you have that and then a cool down. Just not for this one.
Yeah, and I would also say if this wasn't in Chicago, I could see them. If it was anywhere else in the United States, I could see them main eventing with the trios, because it is Omega. But since it's Chicago. It's Punk and Mox.
I think if it was a West Coast show, I would say that, a PWG territory kind of a thing. But not when Chicago. I mean, obviously, Punk is in Chicago. It's the main. So yeah.
Jordan, what do you think goes on right before the main event?
Yo, listen. I think we'll do that tag title match right before.
It's also a solid pick. I've been wrong about these all the time. I never get like the placement on the cards.
No,
correct. It's fun to think about, but
they opened with something that we were like, they opened with that on Forbidden Door. What was it like? They started with something like
6-man tag. Yeah, the 6-man tag. Jericho.
Yeah. Oh right, yeah. That we were all like, oh, that'll be like later in the card, and then they like opened with it, and it was
Which I got wrong because they announced later that the winning team would get the man advantage.
Right, that's
right. And I'm like, well, if I would have known that earlier, I would have picked the heels to win.
We didn't know about War Games or whatever they call it. Yeah.
I really hope they don't try to get William Regal to say blood and guts every year.
Yeah.
Whenever blood, no, it's not. It just doesn't have the same feel. And War Games isn't going to have quite the same feel in NXT if they keep doing it. But yeah, those are our predictions. Obviously, next week, we've already got our show planned. We just got to watch the shows. It's gonna be a big weekend of wrestling. Unfortunately, I will not be able to watch All Out live. I have prior commitments, so I will be watching it Monday because Monday is Labor Day, and I do not have to work that day. So I will order it and watch the replay.
Mine's not because of that reason. It's because I got to do a tier ranker with Jordan for action movies 05 to 09 from 9 to roughly 11:30. So I will also be watching it. I have to work. Well, I have to work Monday as well. So Tuesday is my day off. I will probably be watching both shows on Tuesday, most likely. It'll be a day of wrestling, a Clash of the Castle and All Out. I mean, by then, I'm sure it will be lots of things will be spoiled for me all over the internet, unfortunately. But I will still probably consume them later. Yeah, probably on Tuesday.
Yeah. If I don't forget, I need to shut off my Bleacher Report notifications because they send me notifications for AEW and WWE events, and so hopefully I remember to turn those off because I do not want to be spoiled for All Out.
Don't worry, I'm sure somebody on Facebook will spoil it for you with a nice screenshot. Somebody holding a title or something, you know.
Ringside News, the Ringside News Facebook page is notorious for that. They as soon as it happens, they're posting about it. It's just kind of annoying, like especially for like the weekly shows. Like, come on, even though like Raw and SmackDown are shown at 8 Eastern. Eastern. There are Western people in the world as well, Western time zones. I cannot watch Raw at 8 Eastern. I have to watch it at 8 Pacific, or I have to watch AEW at 8 Pacific. So you know what? I've just learned not to care about spoilers for weekly shows, but pay-per-views is a little different for me.
And I might be able to Sunday night before Tier Ranker at 9, be able to watch the kickoff show, the pre-show, and maybe the first hour, you know, for so I can at least get a head start on it and then finish it. Maybe finish it on Monday, watch Clash of the Castle on Tuesday, something like that. So I'm more invested in AEW, let's just put it that way, than the Clash of the Castle, although I'm still interested. I hope they have a good crowd for Clash of the Castle. I hope they're hot. They should be for that main event, you know.
UK crowds are usually pretty good.
Usually pretty hot, and I think there's a solid enough card there to where I hope they'll be hot. Yeah, I think hopefully they'll have a cool setup, maybe some kind of castle entrance thing would be cool. Set it on fire for Drew's entrance, you know what I mean, or something crazy. And I hope they have a good crowd. You know, Chicago for AEW will be a good crowd. They're always hot in Chicago. A good crowd can make a show for sure. So I hope they're good. And I wish nothing but the best for both shows. I hope they're both great. You know, hope they both have tons of great matches because competition, you know, with WWE getting hot a little bit again, with Triple H kind of getting some investment and people kind of Raw ratings are up. I think I saw, you know, some of the SmackDown ratings are up. You know,
viewership is going up. Yeah,
competition can only be a good thing, you know, for both companies. You know, to strive to put on the best shows possible. So I think it's kind of cool they're running dual shows, you know, and on the same weekend, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it at least gives us something to do for an extended episode. Next week we got 2 pay-per-views to review, so we'll probably start, I'm sure, with Clash of the Castle and move into All Out for the second half. But that'll be fun, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I'm looking at these, and I only see like 2 matches that I'm like kind of interested in, but if if I have to use the bathroom or get up and walk away, like I'll wait till it's these matches. And it's unfortunately it is 2 women's matches, but that's not because I don't like women's wrestling. I haven't liked the build or like the people involved.
Liv Morgan, Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
There you go.
Which sucks because I was so on board with Liv winning.
Right, but
the
with
title, and then like
whatever. Yeah,
it's like
I get it.
Make her tap out and win. Like I don't.
Yeah,
it's whatever. Jordan, how are you feeling about the weekend? I know you usually are you usually watch the shows with friends. I know you've been to a theater before, but now you're in Arizona and you're not with those people. What's the plan for the weekend?
Way to remind me of my crippling loneliness, Jacob.
Well, we are the Lonely Marks. I mean, it is the title of the show.
I know you had to be reminded of being lonely.
I mean, we are lonely. It's in the title. I'm going to be watching it by myself, probably like laying in my bed on my phone, just watching it, So, I mean, what are you going to do? That's pretty sick.
I might have watched Clash with my brother, but he's going to wake up. I'm going to sleep and wake up and watch the replay personally. So, try to stay off the internet as much as I can.
You're not going to wake up and watch it at 10 o'clock in the morning?
Nope. I have to wake up at 4 to 5 a.m. 5 days a week. So Saturday is my sleeping day. I'm gonna sleep the fudge in and wake up and have a whole pay-per-view ready for me. So watch that. And then Sunday, I'll probably just watch the other ones with my dad here maybe. And but still looking forward to it, man. I mean, hey, man, as a wrestling fan, we got 3 shows that all have some stuff that I'm really intrigued by. It's gonna be an interesting week. I look forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so with that, why don't we go and tell the people where else they can find us other than on the Lonely Marks on Thursdays and or Fridays. Mm-hmm. So Austin, what do you got going on in the world of the interwebs?
Well, I mentioned it just a minute ago, but yeah, during All Out, I'll be doing a tier ranker here on this channel with Jordan. We'll be getting back into some tier ranker action, wrapping up our action series from 05 to 09. Monday
night.
Death
Race for number 1, right?
Yeah, Death Race. Yep, definitely. Transporter 3, absolutely. But I believe Monday night, me, you, Jacob, and Jordan will be doing a Patreon podcast. So a Patreon exclusive. You'll have to join the Movie Hero Patreon, patreon.com/Movie Hero to hear that. We'll be talking about movies we were obsessed with as kids, rented all the time, saw on cable all the time, watched a million times. Just a trip down memory lane, so that'll be fun. And each of our perspectives could be different based on our ages and stuff. So, we'll be just chit-chatting about that. We got another tier ranker on Tuesday for Adam Sandler films, so that should be fun. And then, I believe the next thing after that will be Lonely Marks on Thursday. So, and then I'll let you, Jacob, plug yours and our show, what we'll be doing special on Friday night. So, because that's going to be a big one.
Yes. I am looking forward to that, which Jordan Owens will also be involved in. Cool. But before I tell them about that, Jordan, why don't you tell them what you got going on?
Hi. Yes, you can catch me over at the Pierce Code channel, doing a movie tournament here, having some fun with that, some random movie trivia.
I already did one of those. It was fun.
Yeah, he was there. Jacob's going to help maybe co-host some in the future. Over at the Pierce Wrestling channel, wrestling podcast, exclusive matches here. And let's see, what day is it? September 17th. Catch me in Tucson, Arizona for High Impact Wrestling.
Ooh.
Now, when you say catch you in Tucson, Arizona for High Impact Wrestling, are you watching the show? Are you involved in the show?
Oh no, I am one of the commentators. No, I didn't waste time.
Nice,
I'm one of the commentators here with Thomas Bouge, I believe is his name. Having some fun, calling some action there, and getting to know all the fine gentlemen and ladies involved here in the Arizona wrestling scene.
Awesome! I'm glad to see you getting involved.
And still involved and from afar with Real Pro Wrestling. September 16th, one of our most important shows of the year, Stand Up and Fight. All the proceeds go towards the American Foundation for
what?
It's our charity, Myers, Florida.
All right, so Rewind all the way to where you said, and the proceeds go to, and then start again because you froze.
A to the AFSP, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. You can look them up. A very legitimate organization here. All the proceeds goes to them. It's our third annual one. Well, I guess we had that one COVID year, so it's our third one, but not quite annual because we had the gap year. You know what I mean? It's our third one, and it's a very important event to us. So always looking to gather as much money as possible. All the workers are doing it out of their pocket as well. Here we're doing some raffles, multiple raffles, so you'll walk away probably winning something if you donate even more to the raffle. So
nice,
cool,
that's awesome. Yeah, and then what Austin was alluding to is we do a podcast about movies every other week. And this week, not this week, but in a week, the 9th, we will be doing a Hollywood draft. It'll be the three of us as well as Jordan Anderson. It's a draft. We have 50 slots, so it will probably be one of the longer drafts, just based on the sheer number of draft picks. But it's as if we are running a studio, and we are signing people to exclusive contracts.
Just like the old studio days where you had, studio contracts where somebody had a contract with MGM or a contract with Fox, or like it was just like the old days. You get to lock in somebody for your studio to make movies for you. Yeah.
And we will be locking in 33 actors and actresses. Now that could be main actors, supporting actors, character actors, child actors. You could specify what era of an actor you want. So that all up in the air. It gives plenty of choices because it's from any era of cinema. If you want Charlie Chaplin from 1921, you can take Charlie Chaplin from 1921. If you want him as an actor and or a director, because there are 12 director slots. Again, any era of cinema. So if you want current Jordan Peele as one of your directors because you think he's just doing a dynamite job, you can take current Jordan Peele because I haven't seen Nope yet, but he is doing a pretty dynamite job.
Screw you all and just pick him as my character actor.
You can. You can certainly do that.
I'm taking Keegan-Michael Key as
I'm choosing Martin Scorsese as an actor. He did Shark Tale. It counts. Fuck y'all.
That's true.
And he did appear in Taxi Driver. So he
I'm taking Steven Spielberg for his cameo in Goldmember as an actor.
I'm just going to be a complete jerk to Jordan and take Ben Affleck as my director first overall. If I get the first overall pick.
Right.
Because it will be a snake draft. But in addition to drafting those 33 actors and those 12 directors, we will also be drafting 5 composers, again, from any era of cinema. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Who knows? We might even make some dream casting. I don't know. If we just do it as draft, or if we're like, hey, maybe let's run with this.
And we'll go as quickly as possible because most of the picks will be pretty self-explanatory. If somebody takes Steven Spielberg as a director, I don't think we need much explanation. He's a great director, and we can move on. Somebody takes, John Williams, he's a great composer. We don't need to talk about it too much.
Right.
We can move on. Like most picks, I think could take 30 seconds or less, and I think we'll be good, so we can speed through it. So, but it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it, just to see where everybody leans to, what their favorites are, who they kind of gravitate to. That'll be a lot of fun. So we'll check it out.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting because do you draft a director? Do you draft directors that can do it all? Do you draft horror specific directors? Do you draft Western specific directors? There's a lot of ways you can go with it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Speaking of directors, Jordan Owens and I yesterday on his channel, we just did a countdown, counting down the top 10 Tim Burton movies. I think a lot of people know my number 1, but if you want to know 2 through 10, go watch that video. I think the list is very surprising. Jordan was absolutely surprised at some of my honorable mentions. It was a fun show. Go watch it. It's fun. I love Tim Burton. He's my favorite director. How early will I take him in the draft? You got to tune in next week and find out. So, tune in next week. Tune into all the things going on this channel. Like, share, subscribe. Hit the bell because we don't always go live at the same time. And if it is scheduled for a certain time, life happens. And sometimes we have to go a little late. So hit the bell to know when we go live. Follow Jordan and all his endeavors, and Austin I know he's maybe got some things going on outside. I know he's got some battlegrounds going on over at TMG.
Yeah, we're doing like a battle. We're taping like a battleground discussion on Saturday night, talking about the tournament that's coming up. I've got a battleground match that I'm going to tape next week. I'm in Jordan's trivia tournament. I'm in Henry's team trivia tournament. I'm all over the damn place. Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah, so, so just support those two. Support the channel. We like making this content. We hope you like listening to it. And I know that this is kind of longer content. So if you don't watch it all at once, that's okay. Pause the video. Come back to it when you're ready to finish it. I mean, we go the length of almost an average movie. So we get it.
Play it along with All Out and see who fails miserably on all their predictions. Yeah.
I'm sure. Guilty.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, Austin, I've noticed that you either do absolutely terrible on your predictions
or really close.
You're going to be super close. So we'll see what happens here. Me, I've just been really
terrible. Yeah, again, I come up with my wild storyline theories, and then sometimes it just doesn't pan out at all. It's just like, yep, they didn't do that. Remember when I thought Punk and Joe 3 was going to happen, or Punk Joe and
Watch All Out be the start of that build. Watch All Out be the start. Samoa Joe's going to win the ladder match. Punk's going to win.
Yeah, remember when I read this whole narrative about Samoa Joe winning that Owen Hart tournament and starting his feud with Punk and them having their big rematch that they haven't had in 20 years, and that never happened? Yeah, remember that? That's what I based my prediction on. Oops. And it all came down to Adam Cole and what's her name wore the same attire and just won. So, oops. Yeah. What are you going to do?
I don't think anybody realized that there was a couple in the tournament.
Yeah, like, that should have been obvious.
That's the image.
Oops.
Okay. So that has been Austin. That I did it right. Has been Jordan.
There you go.
I have been Jacob.
I did it wrong. I still did it wrong. I don't know where I'm pointing.
And as you know, we may not be doctors, but I don't think the oxygen goes over the eyes. Have a good night.